You're listening to a podcast by Last Minute Crack with your host, me, Christina Hamilton. Last Minute Crack is your one-stop shop for all things arts and culture in Dublin City. For more information, check out our website at lastminutecrack.com or visit us on Instagram at lastminutecrack. A special thank you to Thibaut Kemere for his help with the sound and for the music on this intro. Another thank you goes out to Zoe Spillane for her help managing the page. And now for your episode. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Last Minute Chats with me, your host Christina. And today I'm joined by a very special guest, Anna. Hello.
Hello.
How are you keeping?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
So for my listeners who may not know who you are and are about to be blessed by knowing, could you introduce yourself, please?
Yes. Hello. My name is Anna, also known as Lxverboy. And I am a music producer from Cork and based in Dublin.
Brilliant. Great year for Corkonians this year.
Great year.
Great year for the parish.
Yeah, every year is a great year to be from Cork.
When did you move to Dublin? Was it for music?
Yeah, kind of like I'm coming into my 4th year of living here.
Ooh.
Yeah, but I love it.
Yeah?
I love Dublin. And I know I'm not supposed to say that as a Cork person, but I do.
Cut.
Cut the cameras.
Cut the cameras. What about Dublin do you love?
Like the music scene, 100%. Like I feel like any time I want to go to a gig, I can just look up Last Minute Crack and see what's on.
Or I'll slip you a $5 under the table.
But honestly, like there's so much stuff happening at all times, and I think it's a great place to pursue something creative.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the audience and the resources are kind of here. Mm-hmm. So,
which is a kind of shame in its own way that I feel like it's only here.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of amazing stuff happening in Cork and Galway and Belfast and Limerick, you know what I mean? But if you want to, it's so much easier, I think, when it's here.
It's much easier and much more accessible, I think. Yeah.
But the good thing that comes with that is the community, I think.
Yeah,
you can find so many people to collaborate with.
Exactly.
Anyways, let's start from the beginning. So you moved here 4 years ago, and what was the dream?
So at the time I was with my old band Lwab, RIP, and we just decided to move up here and give life a go here, I guess. Me and my bestie Lara, who we were together in a band called Lwab for 5 years, and we moved to Dublin to see what the crack was, I guess, and then we started releasing music. It was during COVID, so we had never played a gig because we formed in 2019, and then we moved here in 2021, and our first ever gig was on Halloween in 2021.
No way.
And it was like still one of the best gigs we've ever had.
Amazing.
You know? And then from moving to Dublin, we started getting a lot of different opportunities. We played Electric Picnic.
Amazing.
We recorded in Studio 8 with Dan Hegarty in RTE Studios, and we were also on a programme called Sessions from Oblivion, which was all happened in a very short space of time. So we kind of peaked there for a while, and then we were gigging and stuff, and we also played Collins Barracks with Elaine May as part of the Mother DJs.
Oh, cool.
It was like a showcase that was in 2022, and so moving to Dublin really kind of boosted our opportunities, I guess, to pursue music and performance in particular. And then we decided to call it a day.
Yeah, you were like, not getting better than this.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Yeah. So we decided to end as Lwab last November, and then I moved on to my solo project, Lxverboy, in January.
Amazing. Yeah. Can I talk to you about the ending of Lwab?
Yes.
What is that like? because I know it's not like we had such a falling out and I hate them. Do you know what I mean? It's like, well, how did you know the project was kind of coming to the end, and how was that?
It was actually like, I still live with Lara. It's just the two of us. So if we had a falling out, that would have been a disaster. But we basically were just sitting chatting one night, and we had just hit our like 5-year anniversary of being Lwab, and we just started talking. We were like, "Do you want to do this?" And I was like, "No." And then she was like, "Do you want to do?" Or I was like, "Do you want to do this?" And she was like, "No." And then we just kind of like ended.
That's
it was very amicable and like, it was beautiful.
It's just like you both know.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Exactly.
It's a beautiful breakup.
It was a beautiful breakup, and we were both on the same page, very luckily, because it would have been really awkward if one of us weren't. But Lara still mixes all of my tracks, and she also plays in my band that I have for Lxverboy. So couldn't have ended better, to be honest.
That's pretty handy. Yeah. I love that. I love when like it's kind of like it is like a breakup, but like in a good way, and you're like beating the allegations, still friends. Yeah. Does it work? Look over here.
Exhibit A. Yeah.
So we go into Lxverboy. Yeah. I'm obsessed.
Oh, thank you.
I was listening this morning, just trying to get myself into the vibe. My favorite song, and it's kind of like, I think, a silly one, but I love the overture in what album was that? EXO, yeah. I remember, because that was my first entry to your music, because we had met, spoiler alert, we had met at roller skating day. Or class. I don't know what you'd call them.
Event.
Shout out Ballsy, who runs 51st Skates. Love you. So we met there, and then we added each other on Insta, and then I was like, oh my God, who is she? Who is this celeb that I've just met? So then shortly after that, you put out EXO. Yeah. I was like, okay, I love you, so let me just check this out. I was, oh my God.
Beautiful.
Cut. So I wanted to check it out, and I loved the way the album was structured. Was that a very intentionally structured album?
Yeah, it took a bit of time to see what goes where, basically. But yeah, Overture was a song that I wrote, and I immediately knew that was going to be the opener, because it's kind of like an epic song.
It is epic, and it's like, for me, it's very, this is me, here I am. You know what I mean? And it's like, we're in it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I wanted to like welcome to the universe of Lxverboy. Yeah, do you know what I mean? So, and it's also heavily inspired by O Fortuna, if you know that song. Yeah. Because that's one of my favorite songs of all time. I love a good opera. So,
love that.
Yeah.
You're very like influenced by a lot of different things. I was doing a little Google. Did a little Google. Yeah. People might be surprised to know I actually do research for this show. So you are a percussionist. You have a percussionist background. So you're saying you love a bit of opera. I can hear the percussion in your music, and how does that? I'm really bad at these questions. I'm like, what is that? How'd that be? But like, talk to me about how that influences your music.
Yeah. So I grew up playing classical piano and classical percussion, like orchestral percussion, and I quit piano because I didn't like it, ironically.
It's tough.
Yeah, it is. And I got to grade 4 in piano, and then I persisted with percussion and got up to grade 8 in the Cork School of Music, and I had always loved that a lot. I really enjoyed playing percussion, and I played in orchestras and ensembles and stuff, and I would just, like, the timpani drums are one of my favorite instruments of all time. So there's if you listen closely to my album EXO, there's a lot of timpani in it, just because I think they're so like grand and like real majestic instruments. But then, so that's like the classical part, and then because of Lwab, we were an electronic duo. I listen to a lot of electronic music, so I just tried to fuse two of them together in Loverboy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
It's
thank
so
you.
it was so outside of my usual comfort zone for music.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know what to expect because I hadn't listened to your music before. I
Of
didn't know
course.
you in a musical sense, and then you just dropped it. I was like, okay, let me check this out. And I was like, hype. It is so hype.
Cool,
I
thank you.
love all the fusion that it has. I don't. How would you describe it? Actually, that's an interesting question.
Good question.
Thank you. I had to compliment myself. It's like, well done, girl.
Like, I think it's somewhere between, like, there are bits of it that are kind of like the Prodigy, like where they're just like absolutely hectic and a bit crazy. And then there's softer elements which I'd be heavily influenced by artists such as Fred Again and people like Robin, and you know, kind of like so like when I speak about Robin, she's like the OG of like arpeggiator synth music, you know. So I just kind of say if the Prodigy and Fred Again had a baby.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So that's how I describe it. But I don't have a genre really that I say, because you just gotta listen to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the link is in the description. You want to listen along while you listen. Listen to this first, and then listen, and then come back to this, and then it'll all make sense. But yeah, so then you've put out some more music since then. So how has that changed? Is there anything changing? Have you kind of fallen into like? Are things clicking, I guess, is the question.
Yeah, so I just released an EP called Heartaches and Heartbreaks, and that came out Tuesday. And that one was all brand new music that I had written after the end of a relationship. So EXO, the album that I released, was a mixture of new music and a collection of songs that never made it in Lwab.
Oh.
So I had like this catalogue that I worked off for the album, and mixed in some new songs and old songs together, whereas this one was brand new. Like the EP was brand new. So I have my sounds that I like. I have my elements that like the timpani are still there.
Yeah, I was just about to say,
and but this one is a bit more sample heavy. So I used a variety of samples. Like in the first track, Forever, there's a sample of Maddie Healy from Chicken Shop Date saying, "I'm in love with you." And then there's another one from YouTube that's a video about people and their lost loves. And then there is a Dirty Dancing reference as well.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love being surprised by the samples. It's like, it's just like a little Easter egg in music.
Exactly. And I hope people can like listen to it and be like, that's where that's from, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I was not expecting, with EXO, I was not expecting Freddie Mercury. And then it was like, well, we're taking it to this level. Here we are.
Yeah.
It's huge to do like that. Like, yeah, it was huge to start off would you call it album or EP? Album or EP?
So the first one was an album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still learning the definitions. Daffy Rugbo was in here, and he was like teaching me, so I need to do my homework.
Nice.
But yeah, I was just really like, it was such a ballsy fucking track. And I know it's shitty to be like, my favorite song is the first one, as if I didn't listen to the whole thing. I've listened to the whole thing on fucking loop.
Yeah.
But it was such, your music's so strong. Your music's so strong. It's so ballsy. It's so powerful. It makes me want to fucking dance.
Yeah.
So, speaking of which,
yes,
you performed live as Loverboy for, I think, the first time recently at She's and Days.
Yes.
For Palestine.
Yeah, I did.
How was that experience?
That was great, actually. So I actually did a DJ set for that, and that was my first time DJing like properly. So it was really fun, and that was a great night. Organized by Pin Drop Improv, and they had some amazing acts of she's and theys, and it was all for.
It was a stacked lineup.
Oh my god, it was
Stacked.
one of the most entertaining nights I've ever been at, and yeah, they did it all for Medical Aid Palestine, which was an amazing cause and a very important one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, if it needs to be saying Free Palestine.
Free Palestine. Yeah.
But yeah, so like, how is it like DJing? Like, how is the energy?
It was great.
Yeah.
It was really fun. Like they sent me a request to do like kind of some cheesy hits.
Oh.
So which would be all of my guilty pleasures basically.
Oh,
so
wow.
there was Kylie, there was Sophie Ellis Bextor, you know, all the
classic,
the girlies.
the classic chint.
Yeah, exactly.
Classic chint.
Yeah.
So you're a DJ. So that was separate to the Lxverboy thing, then, was it?
Yeah.
Or was it? Oh.
So no, I was still Lxverboy.
Okay.
But I had an album launch in August with a band who I love dearly. With my
An
band.
anonymous band.
Yeah.
a band.
So, a
Who will
band.
not be named.
Yeah.
But I love them.
Yeah, so we had a performance in Workman's main room, and there was 2 support acts. So Lara was as Lawab solo DJing.
Ooh.
Then there was my my other bestie Sophie Moon, who is shout out Sophie, who also supported, which was a support act, and then she also sang. She's on BRB Crying from the album, and so she sang with the band. And then shout out to Mark, Dara, Barra, Lara, and yeah, it was a great night, and it was kind of scary playing Workman's main room because I had never done that before.
That's amazing.
But yeah, it was great.
Workman's main room is a, I feel like a milestone
Yeah,
for people.
it was,
you know?
definitely.
Do you
yeah,
get
it was really nice.
do you get nervous before the shows, or do you feel?
Yeah, I do get nervous.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I was nervous for. I was probably more nervous for the DJ set,
Really?
actually. Yeah, just because I was on my own, and there was like no like with my band, like we're all like good pals. So there's much more a sense of unity.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So so you kind of like bounce off the adrenaline of other people, but then the DJ said, I was like, oh, what if they don't like my songs?
When we said cheese, we were talking about a camembert and Gruyere that you gave us.
Exactly.
It sounds like you did amazing.
No, yeah, it was great, and it was, as I said, it was for a great cause. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What I love about following you on Soch is that it feels to me that you're surrounded by such a lovely bunch of people. I was wondering if you would spend some time talking about the people who are influencing your music and inspiring you, like just in this space at the moment.
Yeah, that's such a nice question. So I have 3 people that I send my music to before it goes anywhere, like the first draft of music, and that is Sophie Moon, Lara Lawab, and my brother Jack. So Jack is also a musician. He is in a folk duo group called Bird Alone. So it's very different to the type of music that I do, but he knows when something is off or something is good or whatever. So those would be the 3 people who I bounce ideas off. I am influenced by. They show me songs, I show them mine, because the 3 of them are musicians. And another person is my friend Dara, who plays guitar in my band, and he basically like did a whole run through of my album and picked out every single thing that needed a polish.
Wow.
So and made it what it is today. So shout out to Dara as well.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How do you receive criticism like that? Because I was talking again to Daffy about this before.
Yeah.
When I am creating something, I can be very protective of how it's it is. And when I'm seeking critique, I find sometimes very difficult.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you were very grateful for it. Like, how do you receive that?
So it depends. Like, if I send something and I'm like, this is done, then I don't want the criticism. Yeah, exactly. Like, if I am happy with it, but then, I don't know, anytime I receive, like, it's always constructive criticism. So anytime I receive something like that, like, suggestions or ideas, I'm like, okay, I'll just give it a go, and if I don't like it, then it's scrapped, but at least I've tried it.
Yeah.
You know? So and like, I am bluffing my way through this, so I don't feel like
I'm faking it till I'm making it.
Yeah,
really.
exactly. And I don't feel like obviously I have knowledge about it, but I still have so much to learn, you know? So I think it's important to bounce off people who are also creative and understand what you're trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like you've kind of made it a little bit. Like, I think it's less of the faking and more the making. You know
Thank
what I mean?
you.
So who are you listening to at the moment? Who's on the rotation?
On the rotation currently is Tyler the Creator's new album, Chromacopia.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah.
What an album.
What a talented man.
What a talented man. Like, insane. So that's heavy on my rotation. Probably daily. Brat.
Still?
Of course.
Are you still living it?
I'm living.
You still bumping that?
I'm bumping that. I am listening to the remix album an awful lot.
Really?
Yeah, I really vibe with that one.
Okay.
And my number one artist this year who I discovered is Omar Apollo. He is amazing, and you should check him out.
Okay.
Yeah.
No further
No,
said.
that's it.
That's it.
He is kind of like, he's pop music.
Pop, okay.
Pop, yeah. Yeah, but he released an album this year, and I can't somehow remember God Said No is the name of it.
Okay.
And it is just, I still am not sick of it, and I say I've listened to 100 hours of it.
Okay.
You know, so
well, that's something. Okay.
Yeah.
Omar Apollo.
Omar Apollo.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna check that out. Gonna
Yeah.
bump that.
Bump that.
Bump that. do. No copyright here. Where else was I going? So, I'm just so happy you're here. First
Me
of all,
too. Thank you so much for having me.
Stop. It's not the end yet. We're still going. We're still going.
Okay.
So, when I was stalking you on Instagram for the first time,
Yeah.
I saw that there's a lot of people who are quite established in the Dublin scene who you are friends with still.
Okay.
Has there been like an interaction with somebody, like an artist or something that's like kind of a standout moment to you, I guess? Like, all my podcast guests will be my standout moments. Shout out to all of you.
Yeah.
But like that would feel like a moment where I'm like, oh, like they talk to me, or like that person really likes my music, like something that has there been moments like that for you?
So I think a few weeks ago I'm Brick Nasty's number one fan.
Yeah, okay.
That's like common knowledge.
Get in line.
Yeah. Well, I try to be Brick Nasty's number one fan. Tough competition out there. But a few weeks ago, I didn't have tickets to their album launch in Hen's Teeth. And then I texted them and I was like, if you hear of any tickets, let me know. And they were like, we'll put you on the guest list. I was like, what? So that was really nice. Like,
wow.
Yeah, that was so nice.
Made it.
I made it, yeah. So shout out to the Brick Nasty lads, because they're all so sound. So I guess that was a nice moment, because they were like, you come to enough of our shows, so.
So sweet.
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said. I'm going to go on a rant. I think there is something to be said about Irish artists and audience engagement.
100%.
I think there's something to be said there, because it can be either very good or very, because all right, I'm getting on my podium, on my soapbox. I think Irish artists are either very, very, very good at managing their community and their audience, or not so great. And I think that's partly because they're Irish. So the
Sure.
very, very good ones is like, it's like this experience with breakdancing where
Yeah.
you text them, or I had it with Nilo at one point where I was selling like a ticket that I had for his gig, and he was like being so nice about it,
Yeah.
and we were having just a good chat, and you know, it was just a lovely time.
Yeah.
And you get to meet these people and have such like beautiful moments. There was one time where we were at Nilo's gig, and his mom turned up, and she's only a little lady. She's lovely. But we had a really good spot in Whelan's where we were on a step, technically. So we were like, get over here. I had no idea it was his mom. I was like, little lady in the crowd needs a view. And then he comes down, he's like, I'm with my mom. And it's like, oh.
Hey.
Well, what a quink.
That's so
But it's like lovely moments like this, right? Whereas I feel like there's also sometimes where people, I think, get uncomfortable with any sort of like fan.
Sure.
Because I think there's something in us that we're like, oh, we can't be full of ourselves. We can't.
Yeah.
So you don't expect that kind of fan engagement.
Exactly.
So I found it sometimes where I would have like a clunkier than I thought interaction with an artist, but purely probably because it's not expected.
It's not expected, rather than it being like snobbery or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know what
so
you mean.
It's an interesting thing where I think it's something when you're going out to make music and you're getting some sort of success. I think it's something that I don't think people think about so much.
No, definitely
is how
not.
to
navigate.
How to navigate people loving you so much, how to receive that with humility, but also receive it in a way that you deserve.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
what's your thoughts? Speak on that.
What's
What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I actually agree heavily with you. Like I remember just going back to like fan interactions. Lwab supported Tebby Rex in Cork in 2022, and like they were the most graceful, lovely, and still are. Like they've like come to our gigs and stuff, and like so supportive at all times. So that's another more people that I just want to mention. But I think like people don't know the effect that music can have on others, you know, like the way that people don't expect when you this is me speaking as an artist as well, like when I make music I'm like, it's out now, and that's kind of the end of it, you know. Like I don't think Irish people in particular, expect there to be this big reaction or like to gain fans from it and stuff, you know, just because I think we're quite a humble group of characters, you know?
Yeah, I think it's exactly what you said. You put out music and you don't expect it to have impact.
Impact, exactly. That's the word.
You don't expect it to connect with somebody.
Yeah.
And when it does, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
How do I nurture this?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's it's just something I've been thinking about.
Yeah, it's like the parasocial relationships, you know, that are like compared to like, I don't know, some big stars in Hollywood and their fans, whatever. But it's still present, I think, here, but on a much smaller scale.
Absolutely.
You know, so I'll be thinking about that now for the day.
Food for thought.
Food for thought, absolutely.
Sadly, we're hitting the end of the episode. How fast did that go?
That went so fast.
Well, if it went fast for you, dear listener, you can join us over on Patreon in like 2 minutes for another extra little tidbit. But before we go, I would like you to shout out whoever you want to shout out, plug your pluggables, talk where people can find you and where to find you next.
Okay, perfect. So I'd like to shouted out the people that I...
You did a lot of shouting out.
Yeah, I did.
Did a lot of
So thank you, everyone.
All of the above.
Yeah. And you can find me on wherever you stream your music as Lxverboy, spelled with an X. So it's Lxverboy. I have a gig that hasn't been announced yet in December, but that will be on my socials. And I have a song coming out with shout out to Mikey Cullen, actually.
Ooh, I love Maggie Cullen.
Yeah, we have a song coming out next Friday, the 22nd of November. So that we were sitting on for 11 months.
Wow.
That also features Dara, who I shouted out earlier, who plays guitar in my band, and also features another Dara from the bassist from Brick Nasty.
Ooh.
So that one is out next week, and go stream it and share it and listen, and I hope it connects with some of you.
Awesome. Perfect.
Yeah.
And it's been a pleasure.
It's been the biggest pleasure.
Stop.
Thank you so much.
All right. It's been a pleasure to have you listening or watching, depending on, well, I guess we're on Spotify. It's all video now. So watching and listening.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll chat to you next week. Goodbye.